What's happening? Is anybody home? Let's see. Did we get it right today? Hey, Randy Carnes. We got it right. Jeremy Hunt, Betty Carlson. Sweet. So how's everybody feeling today? I'm getting my roll on here. Not as in deodorant. I'm not doing that. Let's see. I maybe alluded to I don't feel awesome. That's okay. It's all right not to feel awesome. This is my special time of year where I get allergy kind of stuff. And then I have this amazing ability to turn an allergy into a sinus infection. So I'm doing that, a little bit of preventative maintenance, trying to get ahead of all of it. So let's see, what do we got here? So also the yesterday, the software isn't working. So it's an interesting thing. It kind of was, but we have a computer problem, hardware, not software. So working it out. Before I get rolling down the list here, couple of pandemic people in our normal family, the PPP family, having some medical things going on, some surgeries and whatnot. So whatever you do, you send positive vibes, you send thoughts and prayers, you hold them up. Whatever it is that you do, let's do it to our friends. Let's help them through this tricky time. So, Jeremy Hunt, good morning. Randy Carnes, my man. Hey, Randy, I have canceled my show for this weekend. I'm letting everybody know now, in case I forget. I will not be playing any rock and roll musics this weekend. Betty Carlson, good morning. Edward Ambras, good morning. Eddie, you know my address. I haven't gotten a bike yet from you. Like, what up, dude? Kathleen Beckett Napier, good morning. Karen Buzzard, that's my ma. Dave Bouchard, it is a great day to be alive. I agree 100%. Let's see here. Jim Black, my friend, my good friend. Love seeing you on here, buddy. It always helps me, gives me a smile. Yeah, James, what is it? Like every time I do something, you're like, oh, I do that too. I want to be like Buzzard. Oh, Buzzard does that thing. I want to do that. What did I? Oh, I don't know who that is. I haven't seen a text like that in a long time. So that was a ghost from the past right there. Let's see. Got what to tell you. Thanks, Randy. I don't feel marvelous, but you know what they say? It's not how you feel, it's how you look. And you look marvelous. Billy Crystal, SNL, that's dating us, needless to say. Bob Dewey, good morning. Paula Jack, good morning. Jeremy Hunt, that's a very nice thing. Julie Stover, thank you very much. James, are you leaving me already? That's not cool. It's just joshing at you, dude. Just giving you the business. I do. It is funny, like when the seasons change, I'm the same way. I don't know if it's allergies or whatever, but I totally my voice goes. It's always my voice. Like I don't like get clumsier, or I don't need extra glasses. It's just I can't speak. It's not like I can't hear any worse. I already can't barely hear. So anyways, Jeremy Hunt, Julie Stover, sending love and prayers. Excellent. Paula Scholl, good morning. Randy. Yeah. I mean, I talked to Aaron yesterday and I was like, man, I'll do it if you need, but man, I just think I need to, like, I feel what's coming. Been here so many times. It's ridiculous. Like when you're getting sick, you can tell. And that is exactly what's going on. Christine Steele. I know her. I know her from somewhere. I know exactly where I know her from. Family. We're related. Julie Stover. Yeah, so my doctor is an awesome guy. Dr. Randy Sharma. Like if you know the Columbus music scene, you probably know Randy. Younger fella, certainly younger than me. Devilishly handsome. No, he's just, he is, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a good judge of that either. Good look, but a good guy. And he solo is Slapbox 20. I see what you did there. But Randy Sharma, Dr. Randy Sharma is so he's a huge music fan. So there's a music venue here in Columbus, Ohio, when they have live shows. It's a mid-level touring, so you're not going to get Matchbox 20 there, but you might get Jason Mraz or somebody like, it's like I think 2,500 to 3,000 seat venue, or maybe a little bit more than that. But like I've seen, I'm trying to think of the last person I saw there. It feels like so long ago that I was at a live show, like Collective Soul. That's who it was, with Gin Blossoms opening, which they were still great. The Gin Blossoms, I used to say the Eagles were the soundtrack to my life, and that's maybe not wrong. I've been listening. The Eagles have been around my entire life, and they've never not went away. On my old podcast, the Rock and Roll Book Club, we read a book about the Eagles in there, and it was just okay. But I find myself defending the Eagles quite a bit. Not, I just have to play defense on them. Because I was like, I'm sick of them, or I hate them, or I'm whatever. And I'm like, I don't hate anybody. I don't hate anybody for making music. I might not like your music, and I might not want to hear it, but I'm happy you're making music. And selling records, for those of you who've never tried it, there's nothing easy about it. So just throwing that out there. But I always end up defending the Eagles because they've been, and I can honestly say most of my life, I've been trying either to sound more like them or less like them. Like at the very least, they're a steering point. Now, don't get me wrong. I am by no means comparing myself to any of the talented people in the Eagles. I'm not saying anything like that. Train and Vertical Horizon, two of my favorite bands. I've told Mike this story, so I'll tell it really quick. Haven't told a Saving Jane story in a few minutes. I don't know. So we were playing in Johnson City, Tennessee, and Vertical Horizon was on the bill. And Vertical Horizon, as a musician, just side note here, as a musician, there's times where you're like, oh man, that's a band I'd like to be in. Like, you just feel like the songwriting or the sound, the general whatever. Hang on a second. I got to scratch my noses. Sorry. And at that time, in that like late 90s era of music, I really thank you, James. Thank you. The Gin Blossoms, great. I agree 100%. But Vertical Horizon was one of those bands that I'm like, I would like to be in that band. I'd like to play jangly acoustic guitar just beside these guys. They're great. And their first record was one of my favorite records of that era. It's just, I think it's, I don't know if there's such a thing as a perfect record, but it's really, really good. Another band I loved at the time that I would love to have been in was Tonic. So to give you an idea of the kind of music I was enjoying, that's slightly rocky, but a little bit of guitar, acoustic jangly guitar. And this all connects. This is all going to be one long thread. So in Johnson City, Tennessee, Vertical Horizon's on the bill. And while we were out with Saving Jane, we did play with a various myriad of bands over the years. Some cooler than others. Most of them were in the pop rock vein. Like we never played with like Aerosmith or anybody like that. Like it wasn't we never played with a legend act. The closest we got, we were on a bill with Social Distortion once, which is hilarious. That a pop rock band is on a bill with the sort of the iconic bad boys of that Southern California alt punk rock scene. So Orange County punkers, if you will. Anyways, so this in Johnson City, Tennessee, there's not a myriad of hotels, and or maybe there is. I guess that's incorrect of me to say, but they had all the bands in one hotel. Whatever, Marriott or whatever, Red Roof, and get on the elevator, and then like somebody like, hey, hold, and I hold it, and it walks in, and it's the main dude from Vertical Horizon, and I don't know his name, I don't know anybody's name, and I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe it, and so where the elevator's going up, and he's like, hey, are you in the Jane band? And I'm like, yeah, I mean that's not our name, but yeah, I'm in that band, and see, there's this thing when you're on these bigger stages, there's 4 or 5, 3 of you, 10 of you, whatever it is on stage. On the record, it's guaranteed there's more things going on than the people that were on the stage. So I don't know if you're Green Day and there's 3 of you, there's at least 10 people's worth of music going on the record. So you make this decision before you start doing live shows. How much are we going to bring with us? Are we just going to do it as a 3-piece, 5-piece? In our case, it was a 5-piece. Or are we going to use what they call tracks? And that literally means your drummer counts you in, and he has a click track and a thing just like this, and he holds everybody together, and then there's tracks, almost like, we'll just call it like a karaoke, it's the session, it's the recession that you recorded the album on. So it's the actual pieces. And you decide how much of that or how little of that you're going to bring with you on the road. And some bands bring a lot, and some bands bring very little. We didn't tour with a keyboard player going into our second record. So anything that was really keyboard generated, we had there. That was really about it. And like the occasional, like if it was a super distorted, like one of those voices like that, or something like that, like something that was just a little more studio affected than you could pull off live. But we didn't do much. Like our track wasn't a lot. Not that matters. If you're either playing with tracks or we were playing with tracks, and every band at that time was. And there's no such thing as not playing with tracks to a certain extent. And it's okay. It's just you're just trying to put on a better show. You're not faking it. Nobody. All right, I'll tell you another story, but I'm not saying nobody. But it's not like you have the guitar parts or the lead vocals happening. It's just that little bit of music, that little background stuff that maybe is impossible to pull off with just to get 2 guitar players. And why I'm telling you all this, we're on the elevator, and the Vertical Horizon lead singer looks at me and he said, "Are you the Jane band?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Were you guys, is that you guys all really singing, or are you tracking it?" And I said, "No, that's us. That's all us." And it was like such a huge compliment. He goes, "Sounded really good." That was it. That was our big conversation. But it was like such a boost of like, it was important to him whether we were singing or not. And secondly, that he actually listened. So, because I watched their whole set and they were awesome. All right. They were fantastic. So in the old days, you would see like a side guy. So so there'd be Brian Fink. Good morning, my friend. So there would be like the band, and then off to the side, there'd be like 1 or 2 other people that were doing those parts. And what it became is like, well, geez, if this guy costs X amount of dollars a week, why don't we just bring the stuff that we did in the studio and play along with it? Doesn't matter, is essentially what it was. So there's a whole lot of it's really a muddy water to talk about how much you tracked or didn't track, or playing with tracks versus not playing with tracks. I am a firm believer of, it's like icing on the cake. If it makes the cake better and more like what you're going for, great. But if it's all icing, then it's not a cake anymore. So if the lead anythings, really the main things are being brought with you, my personal opinion is maybe you should readjust and maybe hire another guy or something. But everybody, and I mean everybody, has an opinion about playing with tracks, and everyone's right. That's the thing about it. There is no wrong. And so back to this whole thing, the Gin Blossoms, I personally feel are kind of like the fathers of that sound, that sort of like jangly acoustic, singer-songwriter kind of lyrics, pop hooks, with big rocking guitars and drum sounds, and melodic bass lines, not just like a driving, mirroring the guitar. So the Gin Blossoms, as it turns out, have been basically the cornerstone of every band I've liked since I was, would that record come out? 90 or 91, something like that. And I've had multiple versions of it. So what an interesting day of talking. I'm talking about my love of the Gin Blossoms, and I don't feel great. So that's kind of it. Let's see what we got here. Gin Blossoms, still great live. Yeah, actually, James, when I was stunned at how good they are. Because I mean, just doing the math, they got to be minimum of 10 years older than me. Because I was 20 when that record come out. So okay, so they're at least 5 years older. Yeah, more like it. And I feel old. I feel old as hell. Those guys, they sounded incredible. And it wasn't tracks that you could tell they were doing it real. And that's actually a thing. Once you've played with tracks and various degrees of tracks, and you get a feel for who's using them or not, and you start seeing cues, and you can tell, and yeah, doesn't matter. But it's not like one is better than the other. It's just do a good show. What's it take to do a good show? And that's the whole thing. It's called show business, not integrity business. So, and not that, I mean, I'm not implying anything with that. Like, just because you're bringing, so at the time when we were out, that was the American Idol infusion of the touring acts. So they would bring out, I can't think of any of their names. The only one I can remember is Kelly Clarkson, but it wasn't Kelly Clarkson, but some of like the ones further down the shakedown. And they would show up, and it would be called a track act. And what that means is it's literally like a karaoke where they just play the session and the singer goes out and just sings to it. That to me was a huge eye opener. And because, I liked, Eddie, I can tell when you're using tracks 100%. Go to Sheetz and get some NyQuil. If I go to Sheetz, though, I'm going to get way more than this NyQuil. And actually, Mike, here's the thing. You're not there's a lot to be said for playing with a click track. And once you get on to playing with a click track, there's a lot of positives. So it's two different things. And the tracks that come in, it just makes everything sound better. It does. Like, it really sounds way more better. So, I don't know if like, dislike, I mean, you just get used to it. So it would be where I would say. So like Clay and Ruben, that's exactly like those kind of guys. So they would show up, and they'd have their tour bus, and it was just one of them versus, we were like the Partridge Family in our one bus. And, then everybody, they'd get out and they'd do their jam, their shtick, and people liked it equally well, as much or more or less than what we were doing. And we were playing we were playing the instruments, and we were like, wow, it's just a track act. Well, it's not just a track act. It's an entertaining show. That's the whole point. More, betterer. Exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. The reality of looking back on it, like, geez, that's the easy way. Not that and what's wrong with that? Like doing it the more better way. Clay and Ruben, was there an Ash or someone like that? I remember we played in Savannah, Georgia, and nowhere near the cool part of Savannah, Georgia. Like, my opinion of Savannah, Georgia, prior to going there as a tourist, was it's a giant strip mall. Turns out there's a whole lot more to it, by the way. That was all that I knew. A giant strip mall and a hotel with a wing joint across the street. That's all I knew about it, because I stayed at the hotel and I ate at the wing joint. And I also remember it was the hottest place I'd ever been in my life. Like, it was the temperature of the sun. It was so hot. Steve Dieter, and good morning. Brian Fink, absolutely betterer, and Sue Francis. Good morning, Sue's my aunt. Good to see you on here. So there was this guy, Ash, Johnny. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure, Dave, I'm sure it's amazing. But it was some Ash or Ashley dude, something like that. But and there were times where they would take the effort to bring a band out and then have them not play. Oh, Cochran, Johnny Cochran. Got it. I was thinking rock and roll people. Got it. And I think I remember it was that dude that they brought a band out, and then they didn't really play, which was like, I don't know if I like that. So anyways, I've got work to do. I've got medicine to take. Trying to keep my head clear and not get too medicine heady. I hope everybody's doing amazing. Dave Bouchard, always a pleasure. Sue, Brian, Steve, Mike, James, Eddie, Randy, and that's all the further I can see. You guys are truly amazing. Thank you for being here. Oh, dude, yeah. I totally I agreed. I don't know how that stuff happened. So anyways, I love all of you. Every darn one of you. You know, even you.